Hi, and welcome to section 4.3, solving inequalities using addition or subtraction. This was not going to seem that much different to you guys because you've solved equalities using addition and subtraction, and you've got that pretty much under your belt. So this shouldn't seem all that much different from that. So our objective for this is I can use addition or subtraction to solve an inequality. So in our example, we're going to solve an inequality using addition. So we have the original problem here. X subtract 5 is less than negative 3. This really isn't much different than what you did when this was an equality. We needed to isolate x, and the same thing is true. You have to isolate x. We're going to do that by adding 5 to both sides. So over here we have, let's see, we're going to say, we're going to undo the addition, undo the subtraction, undo subtraction, by adding 5. So we add 5 to both sides. And just like in an inequality, if you do something to one side, you have to do it to the other. So if I take x, subtract 5 plus 5, the subtract 5 and add 5 cancel out to 0, so we end up with x is less than 2. And this is our inequality. So we simplify. And then we're going to graph, and this shouldn't be much different than what we did yesterday. So we put a number line, put 2 in the middle, 1 and 2, and x is less than 2. It's not equal to, so we have an open circle, and it goes to the left on the number line because everything that satisfies that inequality is less than 2. So these are 3 problems that I'd like you to try on your own. So pause the video and then come back when you're ready. Welcome back. Let's see here. The answers to these are if you add 6 to both sides, you end up with y is greater than negative 1. And that looks like this on a number line. I'm going to draw it up here because I really didn't give myself a lot of room. So 0, 1, negative 1. And it's an open circle, and x is greater than, so it goes that way. I'm going to add 3.8 to both sides, and I am left with b is less than or equal to 5.5. Again, if I draw the number line over here, I am going to put 5 here, I'm going to put 6 here, and 4 here. 5.5 is right here in the middle. It is a nice big solid dot because it is less than or equal to. If it's less than, then we go this way because all the numbers that satisfy that inequality are less than 5.5. Okay, I'm going to add 1/4 to both sides since I'm subtracting. And I end up with z is less than negative 1/2 plus 1/4, we end up with 1/4 negative, right? Because this would be 2/4, so negative 2/4 plus 1/4 would give us negative 1/4. Now, this is backwards from the way that we're traditionally used to seeing an inequality, so I'm going to put negative 1 here. Could put negative 2 here, and negative 1/4 is roughly there, and it's an open circle. Now, you have 2 choices. You can rewrite this so that it's the way you expect, variable, inequality, and then a number, or you can just read it from right to left instead of left to right. You always want to start with the variable. Z is less than negative 1/4. So if that's true, it means all the numbers that satisfy this inequality, they have to be less than 1/4. So it means that our line is going to go that way. Okay, well now let's look at solving an inequality using subtraction. We added all of those there, so we're going to subtract here. So 13 is less than x plus 14. Well, since this is an addition, in order to undo it, we subtract 14 from both sides, because if we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other. So let's see here, we undo addition by subtracting 14. So we end up with x on that side. The inequality stays the same. We end up with negative 1, because 13 plus negative 14 is negative 1. Negative 1 is less than x. Well, when we graph this, really the easiest way to think about this when we graph it, put negative 1 there, 0 here, 2 here, or negative 2. This is an open circle because it can't be equal to negative 1. And we're going to read it again from the variable towards the inequality. So x is greater than negative 1, which means x has to be going this way. And that's right, because if we put 0 in here, 0 is greater than negative 1, but negative 2 is not greater than negative 1. Okay, let's try some of these on your own. Pause me and then come back. Okay, welcome back. Let's see here. So we're going to add 7 to both sides because since it's subtraction, so w is less than or equal to negative 3. And if we graph that, it looks like negative 3, negative 2, negative 4. It's greater than or less than or equal to, so it's a shaded in circle. Less than, so it means our arrow is going this way. That's kind of ugly, but it works. Excuse me. Okay, negative 7.5 is greater than or equal to d minus or subtract 10. So I'm going to add 10 to both sides. And I end up with 2.5 positive is greater than or equal to d. And again, if we look here, putting 2.5 in the middle, 3 here, 2 here, closed in circle because it's greater than or equal to. But we're going to read it from the variable side that way. So d is less than or equal to 2.5, which means our arrow goes this way. I can't really, I'm afraid my picture might be over this one, so I'm going to write it up here. So x plus 3/4 is greater than 1 1/2. So I'm going to subtract 3/4 from both sides. I end up with x is greater than, let's see here, 3 1/2 is really, let's see here, 1 times 3, 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1, that's really 3/2. But we're in fourths, so we're going to convert that to fourths. So it's 6/4. So 6/4 minus 3/4, well, that is 3/4. So x is greater than 3/4. And if we were to graph that, I'm going to put this up here. Hopefully this is above my video. 3/4 is there. 1 is here. And 0 will be way over there. And it's not equal to it, so it's an open circle. And x is greater than, so we're going this way. Okay, let's try the next page. So here's a real life application. And this one is kind of a pain because we've got, says a person can be no taller than 6.25 feet to become an astronaut pilot for NASA. Your friend is 5 feet 9 inches. Write and solve an inequality that represents how much your friend can grow and still meet the requirements. Why it's kind of a pain is because when they show you how to do this in the example, they've converted your friend's height from feet and inches to a decimal. So since your friend is 5 feet 9 inches tall, and the way that they figured out that it was 5.37 was they said, well, let's see here, if you're 5 feet, well, I guess I have to put it in here, 5 feet 9 inches, that is equal to 60, because 5 times 12 is 60, plus 9, so that's 69 inches. So it gives you 69 inches, and they say, all right, if 69 times, and this is unit measurements, which we're actually going to learn a whole lot more about in the next chapter. So 69 inches, we can convert this to feet, and we end up with 5 and 75 hundredths. So that's how they got this number. So here's our inequality. So if h is the possible amount your friend can grow, you have your current height plus the amount the person can grow has to be less than or equal to 6.25, which is at most what you could be to become an astronaut. So that's how they figured that out. So that's it for this, and good luck with your homework. I'll see you in class.